today, this entrepreneurship panel was put together because you guys, at some point in being a part of the pivot, have said you want to be your own boss. And so we brought 5 panelists who came in, who taking time out of their day to come in to talk to you guys and give you information on just how to do that. Let's say these young men have an idea. Where do they start with that idea? They say they want to be their own boss, they want to start their own business. What's the first thing that they need to do?
So everything that I do in terms of my business and have learned is because of my previous employment and my education, right? It all prepared me to do and launch what I have. And so let me just to clarify, I've only been in business 8 months full time. I've launched it. I did some preparation and research for 6 months before I launched it. Ask some questions. Go to Dr. Google, type in, is my idea already out there? Then figure out where we can go from there. So asking those questions, and a lot of times we have difficulty asking and opening our mouths to have the conversation, right? Of is this something that's there? Is it needed? Is it actually solving a solution for more than myself? Because that helps get to is there a market for it? But making sure we do some asking questions, otherwise known as research, in some capacity before we move forward and spend a lot of time and invest a lot of energy in it. Is this something that's already out there? And if it is, as you said, how is it different or what's my take on it? How many barbershops are there? A lot. Now, how many barbershops are in Keystone at the Crossing? Yeah.
What is it that's unique about it? What's your special sauce? You want to start something, but are you starting something that's different than what everybody else is doing so that you can get your share of the market? What's your niche? What's your secret sauce? Okay. And then in 2019, I would make sure that what you're doing is able to reach 1 billion people. Okay. We have this thing called the internet, right? It's not broken yet. And that gives you, well, Friedman back in the day said the world is flat because of technology, right? And so that gives you the ability in 2019 to create something. And what you create might be for your local neighborhood, but with 8 billion people that are able to get to your product, how do you get your product or how do you get your idea out to 8 billion people? That's where I'd start thinking.
Think with the ending in mind. At the beginning, think of your ending in mind. Okay. In other words, all you guys, young ladies, and you have your vision, your idea of your particular business, and I'm sure you have daydreamed about. You have a line down the street, a room full of employees or whatnot. Write that down. Write those goals down. Think with the ending in mind, where you want to be in 6 months, 1 year, 5 years.
What type of skills are needed to be a successful entrepreneur?
Are you working right now? The best skill set you can do right now is be the best employee on your job. Learn your job, whatever it is, in and out. If you mop the floors at the Boys and Girls Club, if you work fast food, because in entrepreneurship, you're going to be doing every single aspect of whatever building that business is, from sweeping the floor to taking out the trash to washing the dishes to labeling boxes, whatever it is, you're going to be doing that. So if we can humble ourselves as employees, when we are able to actually run the show and do it with a spirit where people will actually want to follow us because we know what it takes to get something that small done.
Or call someone on the phone. Tell all of us on this panel, people are surrounding you in this room. If you call them on the phone and you say, "Look, I need some advice. I need you have wisdom, you have experience, and so I would like to set up 15 minutes to sit down and talk to you about what's going on, and can you help me? Can you give me that wisdom?" That person will be so happy to provide that advice that you just might get somebody that provides for you mentorship and will be what they call a gatekeeper.
It's okay to ask for work. We can ask a question, but we can also ask for work. And in that asking for work, we're able to see the system, as was said. We're able to ask additional questions, but more importantly, people will see us working. And those who are currently working are typically offered more work, more opportunity to move forward. So how many hours are you typically working?
8 hours a day. Can I have another shift? Is there anything else that can be done besides stocking, right? And then you're telling them and letting them know it's okay. And they're going to actually start looking at you more and giving you additional responsibilities in many cases. Why? Because you asked and you're showing yourself open for more opportunities. And then you're doing that job that they do give you in a spirit of excellence and not just doing it haphazardly, but you're doing it in a spirit of excellence to create trust to give you more. And so when you do make that call, oh yes, absolutely, this is what can happen because I've seen what you're doing. You ask for help. You're now asking questions. All of that goes into it.
A couple of you touched on uh, working in a particular shift, and so that's a great segue into my next question. When you want to become an entrepreneur, do you have a set schedule?
So you have to ask yourself when you start a business or if you've got an idea, it's great the idea of being your own boss. It really is. But then you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice in order to realize that dream? And you have to be willing to see that out.
Most entrepreneurs uh, work a job, and then after they work their job, they work on their next thing. And so time is precious, but time is limited, and you have to make sure you are working excellently on your job, and then you still have to manage to muster up the energy in order to do that next thing. It is the hope that eventually that next thing that you're doing, your entrepreneurial initiative, it is the hope that eventually you won't have enough time for your regular job, and your entrepreneurial venture is consuming so much of your time and making so much money that you have to say, I can no longer work that job. But that's a calculation you have to make. But up until that point, you're burning the candle at both ends of the wick. You are working a full time job, and then with the energy and the effort and the time that you have left over, you're pouring it into that next initiative to get it up and going. There's precious little time after that.
There's strength in numbers. You don't have to do it alone, right? And if more of us came together, say if you had $1,000, and the gentleman next to you had $1,000, and then so on. Don't you know if we put all our money together, what we can do and what we can create, right? We can, right? And so we can all determine our destiny, and we can still be entrepreneurs, but we're just doing it together.
The reality is, I sit in my barber's chair once a week, and he tells me every time I get in his chair, I'm his boss because I tell him what I want and how I want it. It's his shop. He running it. But when I get in his chair, he works for me. And so when you become an entrepreneur, understand whoever you provide service to will be the people that you work for.